sometimes showing up for yourself looks like not showing up for yourself. And that is the biggest lesson that I've had to learn in learning how to trust myself to do things, specifically as it relates to my longest movement streak in a long time. I've been doing exercise, strength training since January, and I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And I've learned a lot about myself during this process too. So in today's episode of the Sancocho Diaries, I want to take a little bit of time to reflect on what it's taken to show up for yourself, what I've learned, and how we can kind of continue to unravel what it takes to show up for you. Hi, welcome back. I'm Sariel. I'm the mystic human being behind the Sancocho Diaries, and I've been simmering on this idea of showing up for yourself since I talked about it on my stories on Instagram, because I had taken a break from exercise when I had been on vacation, and I had been saying like, damn, I really missed the gym and I can't wait to get back. And when I got back, I just jumped right back into it, and it wasn't a big deal. Like, it wasn't something where, oh, I took a break and now I can't get back into it. And I was sharing that on stories and talking through it, and some of you folks wanted me to talk about it, and I am here now talking about it. But what I was sharing about it is that my relationship with showing up for myself had to change as I too had to change. And today I reflected on some of the ways that has shown up so that we can see what's bubbling up to the surface about this feeling of like showing up for yourself, and what kind of gets in the way. I feel like in the past, for me, things that have gotten in the way is wanting it to be perfect, is wanting to do it for someone else, is not centering my whys, all of these things that I like to, even when I'm working with clients, like I like to help filter out, distill the reason that we're choosing to do things, the reason that we're making things as goals, like what is behind it, and how can we crystal clear make it so that it's easy for us to jump back in. And that's kind of what I allowed myself to feel for this journey of moving again. And so to give you my why, like right now, my why for my movement was many whys. One was to feel strong again, to get into routine, to get my body ready for a child whenever we decide to have one. I had these like things on my feet, on my ankles. I was like, that shouldn't be there. And that kind of also woke me up. And just noticing things. We have to take stairs to get into our house. Like, I want to not be out of breath every time I take those stairs. So there was a lot of whys. But those whys helped me in those moments where I didn't want to show up or go to the gym. Like, well, you wanted to do these things, so this is kind of how we get there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. And those little bits of picking apart the goal of showing up is how I have gotten a little bit more comfortable this time around in being able to show up. And yeah, let's just talk about it. So the first thing that I think is helpful in allowing yourself to show up is also allowing yourself to fail. And this might seem controversial or not, contradictory is the word that I want to say. This might seem contradictory, but I think once we allow ourselves permission to fail, so for example, once we allow ourselves to skip a day at the gym, once we allow ourselves to not push ourselves so hard at the gym, it kind of tells us that it's okay to do it. Like, it's okay to do it and not do it. And what happens when you do that? Like, allowing yourself to fail gives you room to explore what's going on behind that, and then you can kind of assess and see how it feels and get a little comfortable with it and learn from it, right? Sometimes I feel like we allow ourselves to fail, or we fail, but we don't bring in any curiosity around it, and that lack of curiosity doesn't help us understand what's going on, right? It just like, okay, I failed and now I'm just going to stop. But that's the exact moment that we have to be curious, is like, okay, what happened? Why didn't I want to go to the gym, right? Like, did something get in the way? Have I not eaten? Have I not slept? Did I put other people's priorities in front of mine? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's lots of questions that we can uncover when we fail, and we lead with curiosity as opposed to accepting that we failed and kind of moving on and not doing anything about it. So I've allowed myself not necessarily to fail all the time at the gym, but sometimes there's just days that I'm just not doing my best, or I can't fit it in, right? And in the past, that would have derailed me. I wouldn't have continued going. But for me this time around, it's like, okay, this happened. Why did it happen? And how can I prepare next time so that I show up how I want to show up, or I do what I want to do? And it just makes the goal, the thing that we're showing up for, a little bit more, not necessarily playful, but flexible and more malleable to you. Because if we're having these goals, or if we're trying to show up for ourselves with anything, rigidity is not going to get us there. That was one of my next points. Like, rigidity is not going to be the thing that gets us there all the time, though it can be a tool, right? Like, being disciplined, being devoted can be a tool to help you see what you're capable of, which is what I wanted to share on the next point. Like, we need to see what it looks like when we show up for ourselves in a consistent basis, even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, because it's kind of like this proving to yourself, proving to your brain, proving to your mind, proving to your body, like, hey, we can do this. It doesn't have to look perfect every time. It doesn't have to be all these things, but we can do this. We can show up. I even think about it with my meditation practices. I do best when I'm in like a container with other people and we're all doing it every day. And then outside of that, I struggle a little bit, but I'm still showing up. Like, I'm still doing a version of it every day, even if it's like not the prettiest version, like a 3-minute breath work or something. But being devoted allows you to see, like, hey, if I can do this thing every day, every week, whatever the devotion is for whatever the thing is, you're teaching yourself that you can do these things. And that allows you to gain more like momentum, more strength, more power. I'm like picturing like a tornado picking up. Like, once you're able to kind of allow yourself to be disciplined and just see what it feels like, you can see like, oh, I am capable of so many things. What else can I be capable of? And then that allows you to slack off with the failing kind of thing, where you're able to take a break once you see and know that your break doesn't mean the end. Your break just means a break. Like, I needed a break. I got my period. I needed a break. I'm traveling. I needed a break. And that's okay. The momentum that you're building from the devotion, from the discipline, is still there, right? It's just maybe a little slower. Maybe we're moving a little slower, but we're still in there, and we want to keep pouring into that. And I think we get so wrapped up in needing it to look a certain way that we remove ourselves from the equation and then kind of become our own barrier in a sense. And that is kind of contradictory as well. Like, we are supposed to be working with ourselves, working with our bodies, working in sync with ourselves, and operating in this way takes us away from that. And everything that I try to do is trying to get back into my body with my meditation, with my movement, and all of these things. And so when it comes to showing up for myself in that way, it's allowing all of these different parts to show up and know that they're okay to show up, right? They're safe to show up, and I'm also safe to be flexible in it. And another thing with that flexibility piece that I want to make sure that I talk about is making adjustments for how you're feeling and knowing that just because you're feeling it doesn't mean it's over. And I'm specifically thinking about when we have like a little bit of an injury, or even like my cycle. Like sometimes my cycle can be super heavy and draining, and that feeling of I need to take a break can lead us to a path where we're like, okay, I'm not exercising this week. And then what happens? Do I keep going or do I stop? Like, where do I pick back up? That picking back up piece is crucial, but then that's where it brings you back to your whys, your values, the things that caused you to show up in the first place. And I'm specifically thinking right now of like some days with the piece about like devotion and showing up, discipline to prove it to yourself. Sometimes I go to the gym because I have to, like it's on my plan and it's like, this is the only day that I got, so I'm just going to go. And my best is not going to be present there. And I think being okay with your best not being present is another piece of this thing that allows you to show up for yourself, because we expect perfection to show up, but that's not the thing that we're here to do when we're showing up for whatever things, even if it's like your creative projects, like perfectionism, 100% stuff. That's not the point. The point is your why. And one of the whys could be like showing up for yourself, for your love, for the love of the game, for the love of the gains. But like you, like the desire to be perfect and do it excellently is not the point of the thing either. And I'm specifically thinking of days where I go to the gym that I don't really want to, but I just have to because it's discipline, devotion. This is my time. And I have said to myself, like, the whole thing right now is just increasing my heart rate. I don't care if I have to do 50 of those. I don't care if I have to do a bunch of weights. I don't care. I'm going to do the best that I can with what I got. And I'm just going to like focus on my heart rate. Is my heart rate increasing? Yes, then that's what counts for today. And that flexibility in the devotion piece of it is so key, because it allows you to show up in this not 100% way. And not showing up in 100% way allows you to stay consistent, right? It allows you to just be there. Something that I talk to my clients about is like, we're supposed to move 150 minutes a week. It doesn't matter how those 150 minutes happen. You just have to make it happen. And similar with this movement, it doesn't really matter that my coach told me I had to do 100 glute bridges, right? It doesn't matter that she said that, but she did. Does that mean I have to do it? No. Should I aim for it? Yeah. But if I know that it's the week before my period and I don't got it in me, I'm not going to force myself, because I'm not needing to force myself in that moment. If it's an ovulatory week, follicular week, and that's it, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. But if I know that my tank is low, if I know that I'm just doing my best to just show up, forcing myself in a way that's not motivating isn't going to help me get there any faster. And that's also been something that I've had to learn in this process of showing up when it comes to movement, because the scam of perfection is such like a drag. It really de-centers you from you and why you're choosing to show up in any way of your life, right? Because if we're trying to be perfect, one, will never get anything done, because perfection is never guaranteed or achieved. There's always going to be something wrong. And we don't need to be perfect. Like, perfection is just something that's a little bit made up to keep us distracted, especially when it comes to eating and self-care and all of these things. Like, that's not the point. That's not the point. And we get so lost in that point that then we don't take the steps to show up for ourselves. And the more comfortable we get in rejecting perfection, and the more comfortable we get with being okay with failing and still going. And the more comfortable we get with devoting ourselves to ourselves, even at the cost of inconveniencing other people or doing it when we don't feel like it, or all of these different things, like all of that helps you prove to yourself, like, hey, we can show up for ourselves. It doesn't have to look the same way every time. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to look the way that someone else wants it to look. It just has to look. It just has to be. It just has to exist. And I feel like I've personally wasted so much time waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the perfect outfit, waiting for the perfect everything. It's like nothing's going to be perfect. And the point of life is not to be waiting for perfection. It's just to be doing the thing that we're here to do, whatever it is, to devote ourselves to whatever it is that we want to devote ourselves, even if it looks messy, even if it's messed up, even if you only got 3 minutes to sit at your altar. Like, those 3 minutes count, right? Those 3 minutes count. And when we're trying to show up for ourselves, we have to give ourselves some grace that it's just going to show up how we're going to show up. But at least we showed up, right? At least we showed up. At least this podcast, at least I'm showing up. I want to make sure I'm showing up great, but I'm definitely not doing it perfect. I got a lavalier mic. I got a lavalier mic that I'm holding in my hand. Why don't I use my regular mic? Why don't I use my actual microphone? So I feel like showing up for yourself takes a lot of courage, because you're having to go up against so many parts of you that might have been conditioned, learned behavior, societal expectations, all of these different things getting in the way of you showing up for you. But when you do decide to show up for yourself, we have to allow ourselves to unravel in a way that makes space for error, makes space for proving ourselves wrong or right. Whichever one. We had to make space for allowing ourselves to just be and to be flexible. Flexibility is always the key in all of this. And so when I'm thinking about all of these different things and showing up, I'm really proud of myself. Like, yes, there's been weeks that I have skipped. Yes, there's been days where I had to skip a day of working out. But overall, comparing my movement from this time last year to now, I'm a totally different person. And it didn't look the same every week. It didn't look the same every month, but I did it. I did something. I feel stronger. I have more energy. All of these things that you see in the macro that you don't see in the day-to-day when you're skipping your gym, or you're skipping your practices, or you're skipping your artwork. But when you look at the bigger picture and you see, like, oh my God, I've been doing this, that's where it's like helps you stay motivated to keep going. And that big picture thinking is so important in all of this too. Like, we have to see where we're going and how far we've come to keep us in the present, but we can't beat ourselves up about it on the way there. It just is not helpful. And the last thing that I wanted to share about staying in the space of showing up for yourself, it is that you have to have fun. But you don't have to have fun all the time. Right? Like and it's going back to that devotion, discipline piece. Like, we have to have fun when we're doing things. When I'm working out, I'm having fun. Like, yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm like, why the hell is this on my plan for today? But I'm having fun. Like, seeing what my body can do is so motivating for me. Having this podcast is so fun for me, because I get to just figure out how to explain the things in my head in a way that I hope is coming out clear. Being in my altar, meditating, praying is fun. Even on the days that it sucks, where I'm crying, tears, mocos, everything. It's still like, wow, I get to have this connection with something bigger than me. So showing up for yourself in whatever the thing is that you want to show up for yourself, we have to center fun, especially in times like this where shit is crazy. We have to be able to show up for ourselves and have fun. But that doesn't mean that every single time that you do it, it will be fun, because it just won't. There's going to be days that you're just eating your chicken and broccoli with your potatoes and wondering, damn, I'm eating this again? You are. I'm sorry. Put a little barbecue sauce on it. Tomorrow will be a new meal. Like it's really that simple and not. We did have that this week, if you were wondering. So yeah, I feel like if we're thinking about all of these different aspects of showing up for ourselves, it takes all of these things, but I know that that's not all of it, right? I know that's not all of it. So I want to hear what's simmering for you, what's bubbling up to the surface for you. What are some things that you feel allows you to show up for yourself more authentically to you? What are some things that I said that you're like, that's not true? And just what are your thoughts? Like, what have you learned or what have you struggled with when it comes to showing up for yourself, so that we can all help each other kind of show up for ourselves even more in this season, especially in this new month. August is here, baby girl. This is a month of like, I was meditating and I got like rest and action, but mostly rest, like enjoy. It's the last month of the summer, right? Kind of. The summer's over in September, but like really enjoy the rest of the summer. Really take care of yourself. Really be in nature. Really do all of these things that allows you to just be in your body. Really set those boundaries that allows you to be present and take the time to show up for yourself. Really allow yourself to have fun with the creative things that you want to bring into the world, and having the routine and the structure that's going to help bring that in. Really nurture yourself. This month is exciting. This month, it feels exciting, even though there's everything going on. This month feels like a really fun opportunity to just have some fun and show up for you. Show up for you, because little you deserves it, future you deserves it, and present you deserves it. So I hope this episode was helpful. I did pull some cards for the new month, and maybe I'll do that every month. Maybe. We'll see. So the three cards jumped out. The one that was on top was the womb. And this card speaks to that nurturing element. And it's so funny because I went on a walk this morning and I saw a nest and I was like, oh my God, I missed the babies. But I'm in a very big womb era right now, finishing my period under full moon. That was crazy. And with the womb, the womb is your space of creativity. It is your space of play. It is your space of being in the depths and the vastness of yourself, to allow yourself to create, to take care, to nurture, to deep rest, to be in the water even. And I think if we're thinking about this month ahead, it's like, how can we really nurture ourselves and our gifts and our ability to just be us? Even if you're a male listening to this and you don't have a womb, your sacral chakra is also a place where you can focus some intention and energy there. Like, where can you allow for some space to create and to play and to nurture and to shake your hips? That's what I'm getting a picture of right now. Like, shake your hips, dance. When's the last time you danced? Sometimes I be dancing in my gym classes, right? So the womb is what I'm going to leave you with. The other two cards were birch and Spirit of the North, which both of these make me think of like nature, connecting to nature and seeing the medicine that nature has to give you. All of that to say is the time to show up for yourself is now. And to do it, we have to be flexible, devoted, and all of those other things. And most importantly, have fun. So I hope this episode landed for you how it did. Let me know in the comments. Happy to chat it up. And again, share with me how you're showing up for yourself, what you're struggling to show up with yourself for. And yeah, I'll catch you next week where we talk about, I don't remember what, but it should be fun. See you soon. Love you.